Good evening, everybody. It's me, Comic Crack, back with another video. I guess this is a week of doing some live streams. Not planned, just the way it's turning out. I got a bunch of Matt Howarth stuff in the mail today. I ordered directly from him, which I would encourage everybody to do. I'll make sure that I put the link to his website here in the description of this video. He's got a lot of stuff. I don't know if his shop is actually officially open at this point or not. I know he was still in the process of unpacking at his new place, but I'd encourage you to go and poke around there anyways. One of the amazing things about his website and about his books is there's a lot of stuff that you can buy the digital versions of. So if you're into that, then you can read them right away. You don't need to worry about getting physical copies. So there is that opportunity. I think there was also some free stuff on there as well too, free comics that you could read digitally, if I'm remembering correctly. So go and check it out. Before we jump into the Howarth stuff, though, I wanted to give a shout out to ILLstrips, capital ILLstrips, all one word. He's got a YouTube channel. I checked in when he first made videos, his first video, loved it. He looked at a really incredible range of comics, and then for some reason I slept on it. And there's been about 5 or 6 videos since then, I guess, something like that. So tonight I just watched his second video. I'm kind of going all the way back to the beginning and just doing them chronologically. And he was looking at some Charlie Mensuel books. He was looking at some old pulp, German pulp, Perry Rodin. He was looking at some Fumetti in it. He was looking at a whole bunch of the new metal Hurlant, which I wasn't aware. Earl Grey might have mentioned it at one point, but I guess it's still coming out like new issues. Matthew Allison was in the issue that he was looking at. He actually, the guy who is ILLstrips, did some spot illustration for the issue he was looking at. And it looks really thick and incredible. A pretty amazing range of artists within that new stuff. So I was kind of half watching and then half poking around online to see where I could get some of this stuff maybe. Not that I can afford to get it at this point, but it's good to kind of know where this stuff is coming from. So I'll put a link to his channel in the description as well too. If you're a fan of my channel, if you're a fan of things that I talk about on here, or just the idea of somebody talking about comics that's more far-reaching, I would strongly encourage ILLstrips. Amazing guy, really easy to listen to, and he flips through these books in really nice detail. So you do get a look at some of the stuff that I guarantee you haven't seen before. So anyway, that's that. Now on to the Howarth. So he was nice enough to do a couple of things for me. One of them was sign all the books. I had asked him to sign the WARB for me, which we'll show you. I'll show you last. But he was nice enough. He actually signed all of the books. He even threw some stuff in for free too, stuff that I didn't ask for, which, hey man, I fucking love that. I guess the shipping, as we've talked about a million times, it's not, pardon me, it's not cheap coming from the States. So to kind of make up for that, he said he'd throw in some extra things for me because he felt kind of bad about the price. So I really, really appreciate that, Matt, if you do end up watching this at some point or stumbling on this video. Here's one of the first things that he threw in, something called Hot, a study of fission in the 1980s by Howsky Studios. So Howsky Studios was his own publishing company. So there you go. You can see his signature there, AKA DW. So I guess he was going as Dominique Waite, the editor here, and then he's credited with a piece in the little book too. So just a small book. It's a mix of text and some cartooning, cartooning by him, but also some illustrations by other people as well. It looks fantastic. Again, like this era of Howarth, I'm a big fan of Like, look at that. That's a really nice looking image there. Yeah, beautiful looking stuff. His textures at this era are so cool. And then some, like I said, some prose and stuff in here, or stories in here as well. But looks very cool. I'm excited about stuff like this. I love that he still has some of this to kind of throw in. I think it's great. I mean, speaking as a guy who is a fan, speaking as a creator, if you have a bunch of your old stuff, I guess there's mixed feelings that people probably have on it, but I love that he still has some of this. I can't tell if that's handwritten in now. It doesn't feel like it, or if that was part of that, and I'm not sure if that's like a reference to Lady Hiroshima, a character that this is inspiration and muses, and Hiroshima is there, so maybe that's an influence on that character. But like I said, this is the kind of first time I'm flipping through this thing in kind of this detail, so I haven't read anything yet. Looks great though. This is one that I did order. The Comics of Two Cities in kind of this mini comics form, and again, little signature there, super nice. This also got reprinted. I can't remember if it was Brave New Words or if it was Aeon. I'm not sure who published it when it came out as the Comics of Two Cities in kind of comic format off the top of my head. I know I've seen it. I have it on my wish list on Lone Star, but he had this in stock, so I wanted to see this version of his comics, this kind of smaller size. First edition, 1982, it looks like here. Based on characters created by the residents, 1982, Matt Howarth. Again, Howski Studios. There are strong deviations between the Comics of Two Cities and the Residents Mole trilogy. They are deliberate and calculated to enhance your confusion. Beautiful. I guess I didn't realize this was a riff on some Resident stuff. I should pass this on to my son as well to check out. I think that might be. I know he'd listened to some Residents. We watched a good Residents documentary months and months ago at this time, probably even early on in the year. I think it was on Tubi. I think it was free on Tubi. Like, look at that. That's beautiful. And I'd recommend checking it out, even if you don't. I'm not super familiar with the Residents music. I know some of it. I was never kind of a super fan. Not that I didn't like them either. It's just not a band that I ever kind of dove into. But the documentary was really great, just to kind of put things into context and talk about them a little bit more detail and go through their history. So beautiful stuff. Oh, focus. There we go. Howski Studios and the Cryptic Corporation. So that's Comics of Two Cities. These ones I ordered from him as well too. It was the last two issues that I needed from this 6-issue Bugtown series. And again, I figured instead of giving my money to Lone Star, let's give it directly to Matt himself to kind of finish off this series. I've been liking this series for the most part. I'm curious to see where it goes. This is 2005. I was going to say 90s, but 2005 for this one. Get the Post Brothers in here as well too, and Bosch, is that his name? Bosch, Monsieur Bosch. Yeah, that's great. Look at that. Great stuff. So that finishes off the Bugtown for me. Another one that I ordered, Video Hiroshima, a character I do like from the Post Brothers universe. This is a one, I think it's just a one shot. I think it's just a one-off. Although, if you've been watching my videos, anytime we talk about Howarth, everything is sort of connected in these Howarth universes. This is 1995. 95, eh? There you go. Little signature there. It's funny, interesting. I feel like I've seen a couple of these images somewhere else too. Anyway, maybe I've just seen the interiors of this before. Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe they were kind of collected somewhere else too. Just looking at the layout of this, it almost looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like straight ahead comics. So I wonder if this is more writings about the character and the world. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious about this one. Looking forward to digging into it. I don't remember. I think maybe this was one that I ordered. I don't remember. Fix issue number 1. I don't know how many issues this went. This is 1990, I think it says in there. Oh, was this Fix? Was this something that appeared in Heavy Metal magazine? Because again, speaking of images I recognize, is this a reprint of that? Let's go way back to the fall of 1976. Howski Studios were working on their book Sand Scripts. I'd already finished my work on the project and was becoming fidgety. Someone suggested I do a mini comic. By the end of the evening, I had fast talked my way into getting permission to pull a bunch of drawings from everyone's sketchbooks to use in this suggested mini comic. Julian's sketchbooks were very helpful. In fact, Julian worked closely with me in collaging the fragments and blending together the different art styles. He also designed the pinheads for me. I sat down with all those pieces of art and concocted Fix. Well, there you go. So Fix and Fixed. Interesting. A little bit of context. Looks killer. Yeah, beautiful. I see. So that's why there's the border on top and bottom. So this would have been another one of those little square format books, I imagine, when it was first put together. And then there's Fixed. Yeah, very cool. Amazing. That's Brave New Words. This is one that he threw in for me. One that I already have, but I don't mind having a double. That'll go into, the other one will go into a pile to pass on to somebody. I will keep this one with the signature. Yeah, we've looked at this already on the channel and talked about it. I remember liking this issue. So there you go, Crazy for the Girl. Another one that he threw in for me, Funtime with Atomic Energy Science. And I think this is, what, 2011? I think this is in the 2000, oh no, even more recent than that, 2021. Funtime with Atomic Energy Science by Ruby Carrot and Matt Howarth. This is kind of a coloring book and coloring and activity book. Welcome to Funtime with Atomic Energy Science, a coloring book with puzzles and mazes and games. And it's very thick. It's very cool. This is pretty amazing to have. So I really appreciate you throwing this one in. Love the looks of it. Honestly, if my daughter was younger, she, actually maybe she's still a good age for it. I almost want to pass this on to her, and maybe we can actually do some coloring in here. Might be fun, and do some of the puzzles and stuff. So this is pretty great. Yeah, I think this is one I'll definitely share with her. We can go through this in detail together. So super cool. And last and certainly not least, I got to give a shout out to AFPC. When I first started kind of really diving into Howarth, this was an early recommendation from him that this WRAB is one of his favorites. The Living the Line guys, they did a couple of, they used to do these weekly kind of dissections of comics. There was, I think, 2 episodes of that. It was with Brandon Graham, where they looked at some Howarth stuff, and in one of the episodes, they look at WRAB because there's something that he does in here to kind of get this idea of subliminal messages. I started reading this one tonight, actually. I'm not too far into it, but I did start going through it. This page here, so the idea is that it's this pirate TV show. Monsieur Bosch is involved in this one as well, too. He's this kind of big league assassin that people are always hiring. This friend of his that he's known since they were in diapers is involved with a guy who's doing this pirate TV station. The plan is to have their it can take over the signal for every single TV channel. They have it set up. So Bosch is brought on as the kind of I'm blanking on the term right now, the kind of producer or the guy who's kind of taking over the whole thing, in charge of the whole thing. And he has Ron Post coming on, doing Cooking with Ron. And this is the page that they talked about on Living the Line, because on this one page, on the back side, it's some text written backwards. So I don't have it set up here for it right now, but you hold this page up to the light and you can kind of see through, and you can see that subtext. Bosch's idea is he wants to get these subliminal messaging out there through their pirate TV station. So some of the messages are, sex, art, sex, conform and vanish, don't eat your neighbors, stuff like that. A set of eyes peeking at you. So I did hold it up to the light, and it works fairly well, actually. It's a tiny bit misaligned, but the idea is a fantastic idea. And this is he calls it a graphic novel on the front cover, and it's thick, but it's on this kind of old newsprint. It looks really great. And one of the other things that he does throughout it, there's, I think, 2 spots where it's kind of the film that's presented on the channel. I haven't read up to this point, so I don't know kind of the context of how this fits into the story, but my guess is that this is part of their programming. So it's reprints of a couple of older Howarth stories that he presents in here, which I think is such a great idea. And then there's this middle section that's on different paper, so they can have this little color insert here in the middle. And then back into black and white. Broadcast, quiet space. So great stuff here. And again, here's the other film, and you can see that this is definitely earlier Howarth. You can see that style in kind of his earlier stages of his career. Look at that. It's fucking amazing, man. Hell of an artist. Great guy for throwing this stuff in. I will give another shout out to PopComics. PopComics had a live stream a week or so ago where I was able to kind of catch it. I've caught a couple of his live streams, actually. They're pretty fun to kind of hang out and just chat. He ends up kind of going down these rabbit holes, especially when he was digging for comics online. One of the rabbit holes that he went down was a Garo magazine, Japanese manga, the infamous Japanese manga that kind of collected more independent cartoonists. So he started going down a rabbit hole and going through some Japanese websites looking for lots, which was so much fun. So anyway, the reason I bring up PopComics is because one of the early live streams that I caught, he gave a little sneak preview of all of the Howarth stuff that he had in a collection that I think he said he's had for quite a few years. And he went through everything. Him and Jason, who's been here on some of the streams as well too, they got together and just put all the stuff into these binders. Most of it is stuff that he's keeping. I think I've mentioned it before, but there's some that he probably has some doubles, so hopefully we can work out a deal. Look at that. Great stuff. There's Bosch looking kind of Doonesbury / Hunter Thompson-ish. I'll put a link to that in here as well too, with a timestamp, because I think it's about 15 minutes into that stream. And he ends up going through pretty much everything that he has pretty quickly, but you get a good look at all of the stuff that was in this collection. A lot of early Howarth stuff, a lot of the minis and things too. So yeah, there you go. It's pretty much it. End document. Advertising with Ron. Howski Studios. And then another cooking with Ron on the back. Amazing. Right on, everybody. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you.